have a problem with that, Chris. Little pistol.
Okay, the little pistol. This is blasphemy.
Jimmy only has one. No. Yo, what's going on? Rob here from Showdown. And listen, we are back with another anime Take It or Leave It. The segment where if you take it, you agree. If you leave it, you disagree. You want nothing to do with that. Today, we are talking about One Piece. Let's do it. Rayleigh is overrated. People call him the strongest swordsman of all time when I feel that title belongs to Odin. Of course, he's still a GOAT, but I don't believe he was the strongest swordsman or the best anyway. Take it or leave it.
I leave it.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it too. I personally think that Rayleigh is underrated. Sitting at the right hand of Roger, we know what he was able to accomplish in the series, and we know that Luffy is not Luffy without a Rayleigh. You can make that case that, you know, people may be hyping him up to being a better swordsman. I do think that Rayleigh has other forms of combat. He can use a sword, but is he just going to be a pure swordsman like a Mihawk where that's his only style of combat? I'm not so sure when it comes to Rayleigh.
Dragon has the potential to be one of the strongest characters alive. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking this every single time. Obviously, he's the world's most wanted man. There's no way the Revolutionary Army could even form and thrive if Dragon is not one of the most powerful alive in the series right now. Some people out there like to say, oh, well, it's because of political power and things like that. None of that matters. Look how powerful Sabo is. You don't think he was training with Dragon? We saw him literally train with Dragon.
I'll take it too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it. Dragon is too important, far too invested in the story to be some scrub. The world government is on high alert with Dragon, and they need to find him and deal with him.
This one crazy. Current Luffy, Negs old Whitebeard, low difficulty. Take it or leave it.
We only have two options, so I'm going to leave it. This is blasphemy. This is nonsense, foolishness. It's sacrilegious. I don't know the words for this. The disrespect.
Listen, shout out to Luffy V, by the way. Great anime YouTuber, show him some love. But saying current Luffy, Negs, old Whitebeard. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Luffy is putting in work against Kaido right now on the roof, but we also have to understand that Kaido couldn't even make it to Marineford because of a Shanks. Kaido was trying to get to Marineford because who was there? This very same old Whitebeard that you're speaking of. And this old Whitebeard clashed with the Shanks and split the sky. We have to also remember that Kaido's getting raided right now. It's like 80 on 1 with Kaido. We have to pump the brakes a little bit. Luffy looks fantastic. He looks great. But if Luffy was just on a 1v1 and nobody else was pulling up on Kaido, Kaido had fresh legs, would the same thing happen? That's a question. So I'm definitely leaving this.
Skypiea is heavily underrated. Take it or leave it.
Honestly, I'm gonna take this. I know a lot of people out there dislike Skypiea. They hate Skypiea. They said Skypiea was boring. When I watched Skypiea though, I really did not have any problems with it. I really enjoyed the impact dials. I love the fact that, you know, they were literally on clouds. It was a very cool location for them to be in. There's poneglyphs there and all types of things that we were finding out that helped open up and broaden the scope of the story. Luffy versus Enel to tie everything all together. And it's the first time we even heard of observation hockey. It was called Mantra there, but we understand that as well. So I do think Skypiea was cool. I enjoyed it.
I'll take it also. Skypiea to me was a great arc. I love the history and actually connecting. What it did was connected more than just Blue Sea, but it connected the Blue Sea to the White Sea. We saw Enel going to the moon. So it opened up different questions we had about civilizations elsewhere.
Ace living would have resulted in Luffy and Ace having learned hockey under Marco. Take it or leave it.
All right, so with this one, I'm gonna leave it. I think it's way too much of a stretch. I don't think Luffy would have been with Ace on his journey.
And that's where I was gonna go. I'm leaving it as well, and I agree with that. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, right. They both knew they were going to be captains. They were going to do their separate thing.
They were competing.
They were competing essentially. Right. I don't see them going together and having a journey together at any point.
Rayleigh beats all emperors right now. Take it or leave it.
Whew. All right, it's heating up. It's getting hot. My heart says that Rayleigh can compete, but the gray hair makes me hold off just for 2 seconds. I'm gonna leave this. I don't know if he can definitively beat all of the Yonko right now. I do think that maybe if it was like a Blackbeard, a Big Mom, you could definitely make a case. I'm not sleeping on Rayleigh though. Listen, Rayleigh is powerful. He's old. He's out his prime.
It's no disrespect to acknowledge that Rayleigh is not in his prime.
Right.
He is not hanging with the emperors right now. I'm sorry.
All of
right
them?
now.
All of them?
He is not hanging with the emperors right now.
All of them?
I think. Listen. he's not boxing with Big Mom because this is a very solid argument.
Is it though? Because there's people out there that believe that Kizaru can defeat a Big Mom. And Rayleigh was boxing with Kizaru and holding his own, and they were fighting. You know, they're pretty jovial.
Okay,
they're having a good time.
whatever that school of thought is that Kizaru could box the Big Mom, let's just throw it out the window.
Okay, Marine fans, y'all know what to do.
I'm sorry. That's just not how I see it. Granted, Rayleigh in his prime, I think absolutely.
Luffy won't become Pirate King. Take it or leave it.
You know, this is it shouldn't be a difficult one, but this is Oda we're talking about. I'm going to leave this only because it was Luffy's dream to find One Piece. I don't think anything in this story will change that.
Whoa, hold on now. I'm assuming this prompt is mentioning this because they want to bring up Blackbeard. I'm assuming just based off of the vibe. I think Blackbeard is somebody that Oda is also building up as a very possible contender for the Pirate King throne. Okay. I'm just gonna put that out there.
But understand this. Morgan's put out that Luffy was the 5th emperor. Before Luffy really even did anything substantial,
right, he
was already deemed the 5th emperor.
Right.
And we also know that Roger did not give himself the title of Pirate King. It was given to him. It was bestowed upon him.
Right.
I do not think that it will be given to Blackbeard and not Luffy.
I'm gonna leave it as well, but for a different reason. Whitebeard stated himself. He told Blackbeard to his face before he passed away. He said, listen, the person Roger was waiting for is not you. When it comes to Whitebeard, he would have been number 2. So he knows what it takes. For him to say Blackbeard is not worthy, that leaves a lot of room for Luffy.
The anime has terrible pacing, and you should just read till Wano and watch the anime there. Take it or leave it.
You know, as a One Piece fan, I take this. The anime's pacing is not the greatest, especially with a series this beautiful, with how much world building, how much story, how much plot progression we have going on. The speed and the rate that we want it at, we're not going to get it with the Toei, unfortunately. That's just what it is. But I do think there are a lot of benefits to watching the One Piece anime. I mean, the music, the soundtrack, the fights, you know, the voice acting, everything there is beautiful as well. I mean, there are definitely some arcs where I think you should watch the anime, like Marineford, Wano, obviously, as he mentioned. So
I gotta leave this because the prompt was saying read until Wano and then watch the anime. That is the entire series. The greatness about One Piece 2 is the progression, from the progression of the animations to the progression of the power-ups, to progression of relationships. Everything that is in the anime is meaningful. I don't know if you would be the same One Piece fan if you chose that route.
Well, there are many One Piece fans out there that are only manga. For me, I love the anime. You know what I'm saying? I definitely listen. I understand the love for the manga as well.
But then you have to ask people whether or not it's manga for certain arcs.
Most manga readers for One Piece got turned into manga readers because of the pacing of the anime.
Nah, I'm sorry.
Enel is heavily underrated. That's my hot take. People seem to forget that he has one of the most elite observation haki, which rivals the likes of a Katakuri. His devil fruit is also one of the most elite. His downfall may be his experience or arrogance, but honestly, his observation haki is what makes me think he is top tier. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking it. I think Enel is very much underrated, although it's not without reason. He lost to Luffy before Luffy was anything special.
Right.
Luffy was still doing the Gomu Gomu no Mi little twist,
the little pistol.
Okay, the little pistol. I'm you know what I'm saying? Before Luffy really knew how the world works, at this time they were introduced to Mantra, but they did not know what it was. And still, he defeated Enel because he was his natural enemy. As we fast forward, we have no idea of Enel's whereabouts.
Yeah,
we have no idea what he's doing, but there is no reason to believe that Enel is sitting somewhere without gaining knowledge as to why he lost to a regular paramecia fruit. That will not happen again because his devil fruit power was so overwhelming.
Talk about it. I mean, I agree with everything you just stated. I gotta take this as well. I definitely think he's underrated. But I mean, it depends on the level that we're talking about. If we're saying, you know, we think he should be top 15, 10, I'm not sure.
I honestly think Shanks is more powerful than the community sees him to be. So many crap on Shanks for no reason. And I get some people overhype him, but it's for good reason. Who else you know splitting the sky with Whitebeard and talking to the Gorosei? Like, come on now. Take it or leave it.
I'm taking this, and then I'm gonna take it again, and I'm gonna take it 3 times. Yes, absolutely. There's people out there that sleep on Shanks just because they haven't seen anything, which to me makes no sense at all. I don't care that Shanks lost his arm. He waged it on the New World. He waged it for Luffy. That's the only reason why he lost his arm. Yeah, Mihawk said, well, you lost your arm, so I don't think you're cold enough for it. But he split the sky with Whitebeard. So there's a disconnect because Shanks is there, all right? Shanks stopped Akainu's attack with ease. He shut down the whole Marineford War. His crew is top tier as ever. And obviously, as he stated, he's having meetings with the Gorosei. He's a big figure in One Piece.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one, man. It's because we haven't seen as much as we would have liked to see from Shanks. But Oda's pen, we have seen enough from Shanks to be convinced that he is indeed just as powerful as any of the major players in One Piece of all time. Shanks' power should be respected, and if we pay attention to the story, it has been respected by respected characters.
One Piece is the greatest anime of all time. Take it or leave it.
I'm going to have to leave this one. The biggest thing against One Piece is its longevity and the commitment you have to have in order to watch it, thus enjoying it. It is a lot to be committed to the entire story that is One Piece. And there are many other anime that are much shorter that deliver such an amazing satisfaction.
I have a problem with that, Chris. One Piece can't go on for this long and pull the numbers that it does if it's not amazing. It's purposely stretched by Toei Animation because they realize they have a gold mine among gold mines.
Greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time? I'm taking this. I'm not saying it's perfect, but realistically, you can make a case as peak fiction. Compare the One Piece world up against the Game of Thrones and the Harry Potters and all of these things. One Piece can put up numbers against anybody. One Piece, in terms of selling, is in the conversation with a Superman and a Batman and things like that, who have been out for many, many years longer than a One Piece.
It's a double-edged sword. Either you love it for its longevity or you don't. For me personally, I can't have it as greatest of all time.
So what's your greatest of all time?
Lord, y'all gonna kill me. Y'all gonna kill me in the chat. Relax on your boy Chris. Relax on. My favorite of all time is Code Geass. That's personally.
I love Code Geass too.
For me,
I love Code Geass too.
My favorite anime of all time is Code Geass.
I love Code Geass too. It's not better than One Piece though. That's blasphemous.
There's a few of y'all in there.
It's a great anime.
Luffy, Zoro, Law, and Kid will all be top 10 when One Piece is over. Take it or leave it.
I'm gonna have to leave this. A lot of the worst generation may not even make it, depending on what we're seeing right now. There is still admirals that have to get taken down. There's still Yonko that are getting stronger and stronger by the day. These are things that make me believe that, you know, the worst generation is gonna have to deal with something.
I gotta leave it too. for what you just said, we can't all make it. That's what it comes down to. I think Luffy has already begun to separate himself from everyone else. And Luffy is occupying the space of someone else. Some people are gonna have to get weaker or be gone, and someone's going to have to put them out.
There's gonna be a war.
There's going to have to be a war where people are dropping like flies.
Kuma's Paw fruit is better than the Op fruit, and is probably the most overpowered and underrated devil fruit in the whole anime. Take it or leave it.
Okay, so this one I'm going to keep short and simple. I am leaving. Law's fruit is more important than Law. Law's fruit has the eyes of Im. Law's fruit has the eyes of the Gorosei. Law's fruit has the eyes of the highest levels of government. Okay? Whereas Kuma's fruit is being operated on by Vegapunk and his body. You know what I'm saying? But that is not the same thing as Law's fruit.
Completely agree. I already know you're referring to. You're referring to the, you know, the Kuma Millie Rock. You see where the Straw Hats were ended up. That's great. That's fantastic. But we look at where Kuma is at right now, and look where Law is. You know what I'm saying? Law is on a completely different level. And let's not, Law's Devil Fruit Awakening. I mean,
Akainu is the best villain in One Piece. He actually carries out what he says, and he is a master manipulator. He even has the strength to back his statements up. Also, his Devil Fruit is among the most powerful in the verse, and is personally my second favorite in the series. Take it or leave it.
I am going to leave this. You can mention a Doflamingo. You can mention a Blackbeard. I know a lot of people say Blackbeard's not really developed as much, but I see it quite the opposite. Blackbeard having, you know, Whitebeard's Devil Fruit on one hand, and then the Yami Yami no Mi on the other hand. You know, he can steal Devil Fruits. He has Quake Fruits. He has power. You see how he bullied Gecko Moria to really get Absalom's fruit and then just pass it on to his mans and Shiryu. He doesn't even care. He's just trying to get as many OP Devil Fruits as he can and just finesse everybody. I don't know if Akainu's going through that level.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it too. If we're gonna talk about Master Manipulator, we have to talk about Blackbeard. Manipulated everyone, including Whitebeard, killed a crewmate who found the fruit, skip ship, and then now turn around to come and steal the fruit of the very person that was your captain, and you were his son.
Blackbeard is causing wars.
Yeah,
there's levels. Sanji is the most underappreciated member of the crew. When I say this, I mean he's arguably the most important. Since if you look at the fighters on the crew such as Luffy and Zoro, fighting is pretty much their only role, whereas Sanji had the role of a fighter, but is the only crewmate that can actually cook, which is pretty important. Also, there are a lot of times the team would be dead if not for Sanji, such as his Mr. Prince persona and opening the gates at Enies lobby. Luffy is the most powerful and best character too, but Sanji, in a practical sense, has been the most valuable Straw Hat. Take it or leave it.
This one is a little tricky because of the wordage, and I'm going to lead it. If this was worded as Sanji is the most underrated as part of the monster trio, I'd agree. But because it's the whole crew, I have to leave it because I feel Nami, I feel Frankie are more underappreciated because of the ship that they're on, Frankie, because of the fact that to navigate in the new world, it's solely because of Nami.
I'm gonna leave this but for a different reason. You mentioned that Sanji is underappreciated. I don't feel that way from the story whatsoever. I think Sanji's highly respected, actually. There was literally the entire whole cake arc, which was a Sanji rescue plan. The fact that Luffy allowed Sanji to literally knock the teeth out of his head to show him how much he cared about Sanji. People care for Sanji in the series. So I definitely think he's very appreciated.
Sabo is greater than Ace. Ace is a horrible older brother, and Sabo has been a great older brother to Luffy from what we have seen so far. Ace is very overrated and feels more like a plot point than an actual character. Take it or leave it.
This is tough, man. You know what? He went in. All right, this person went in. I'm not trying to go in as hard on an Ace, but I do believe that Sabo is the better brother. Sabo just didn't even know what was really going on. We know that if Sabo had any idea about Marineford, he would have pulled up right away. He had no idea. Ace, on the other hand, did obviously struggle with being Roger's son, and you know, he took out his anger on Luffy. So I know that's what you're referring to. But once he got older, he did start to care for Luffy. So I'm not sure if I would go as hard on him as you did. I know that Sabo cares for Luffy just like Ace did. He was kinder to Luffy when they were younger. That's the only thing I guess you can really say. I have to take this though. I appreciate Sabo more.
I gotta leave this. We need to stop with the Ace slander. Sabo is great. I love Sabo. But we have to understand Sabo has Luffy at a different age. Ace did not have Luffy the way Luffy is right now. We knew they were not going to team up. We knew they were not going to be together. When Ace asked him, do you want to join me in my pirate crew? Luffy said no. When Luffy asked him, Ace said no. Their affection for each other was different. but that does not mean that Ace was a terrible brother.
Yeah. Zoro is actually a better character than Luffy, significantly. Take it or leave it.
I am taking this. Zoro is indeed a better character than Luffy. There was a person here, I don't know where they went, but if we go back, Zoro has held it down from day one. His loyalty and commitment to Luffy and to the crew has been top notch since day one. It has been intriguing. It has been such a curiosity to watch Zoro in every single instance. When the crew is going left, Zoro keeps them on game.
So did Jinbei. So did Jinbei.
So did Jinbei.
Hold it down for the crew. But he wasn't even a part of the crew.
Oh, no.
What I mean?
Not like Zoro. Not like Zoro. Not like Zoro.
Jinbei.
Not like Zoro.
Jinbei.
Jinbei. Not like Zoro.
Jinbei.
Stop it.
Jinbei.
Stop it.
Jinbei.
Zoro literally has in every single arc. Zoro has.
I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm saying so did Jinbei. I'm not saying Zoro didn't.
But you saying
I'm saying so did
Jinbei wasn't
Jinbei.
even around. What are you talking about?
When Jinbei was introduced to Luffy,
you can name the
he
arc.
held
Name any arc, and I will
from
give
the moment he met Luffy and Imp held down.
I will give you an example of when Zoro, literally, it was Zoro that looked like he was the captain when Luffy was out here wilding.
Oh.
When Luffy was having an argument with Usopp.
Hold on. This Luffy disrespect.
No. Stop it.
Luffy has his own fleet.
Hold on.
He has his own fleet.
We're not talking about power. We're talking about character.
That's the character of Luffy, though.
But how many people has Luffy saved?
What did Mihawk state about Luffy, Chris?
Listen,
what did Mihawk say about Luffy?
This is what I'm saying. And what did he say about Zoro?
What did he say about Zoro?
What?
He trained him.
He didn't say nothing about Zoro?
No, I'm asking you.
Okay, so what are you talking about?
All right. Mihawk in the Marineford War literally said why Luffy is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Because he has the ability. Kobe himself stated it. Because Kobe noticed this since day one. Kobe, before he even met Zoro, Kobe knew
that. You're right.
He has the ability to just draw people in.
He did say that. I'm saying in Luffy's moments of weakness,
right,
Zoro has been that rock to bring everybody together. He
and
told
Jinbei.
Luffy when Luffy had the argument with Usopp over what we were gonna do with the ship, and when they were deciding as a crew whether or not to accept Usopp back into the crew,
right,
Zoro shut that joint down.
Absolutely.
And he says, I'm not here for that.
Right.
We are a pirate crew. We are not here to play games.
All right, and what happened in the meeting with Capone Beige and Luffy, who was in there with him? A Jinbei, helping that situation hold that down as well. I'm not saying Zoro is not elite in that sense. What I am saying is that you're stating things that Jinbei also does.
Thriller Bark.
But we're saying
Thriller
things,
Bark.
I'm saying what?
Thriller Bark. What happened?
Yes. Zoro held it down.
But that has happened literally every single moment of the story. Zoro has held it down.
That's not true though, because Jinbei came through and Law came through for Luffy. These are two people that came through for Luffy when Zoro couldn't.
You're literally talking about like one arc.
I'm not. Jinbei only has one. Jinbei only has one arc. Stop.
As a character,
for the majority, especially pre-time skipping,
Zoro has been much more solid than Luffy has been.
I think Luffy's more solid. Luffy has literally stayed consistent with what he wants, and people literally want to follow him off of that, just off the strength of that. As a matter of fact, Zoro knows this, which is why he decided to ask Mihawk to be trained. He literally bowed before the person that he's trying to surpass. For Luffy. Luffy is that guy. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Zoro's not nice. This is not even a Zoro slander.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why people love Zoro, because of his loyalty. And that example was a moment of him choosing Luffy over his own pride. And that makes for an amazing character.
He's elite, but I'm saying, but that's why I brought up Jinbei, because Jinbei's loyalty from the moment he met Luffy, it's been comparable to Zoro. Jinbei's a person, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying
only
Zoro's
for a small amount of time. That's the point.
I'm saying if you're gonna give that same credit to Zoro, you also got to give that to Jinbei. So then these two characters, I don't think are gonna be better than Luffy if that's what we're going with. That's all I'm saying. All right, so you guys let us know down in the comment section below which takes you agree with, disagree with. Thank you guys so much for always supporting the channel. We're on the road to 100K. And with that, I'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Peace.